Tonight's game is the Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and have many pointed out, you could say it's talent versus character, or you could say it's culture versus characters. That's really what's at stake here, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers, two most talented offensive players. One is out of the league. The other one is running for the New York Jets. And their quarterback is out for the year. And yet, here they are with a better record, more competitive, and an incredibly compelling story. The Pittsburgh Steelers on the brink of putting themselves very much in the driver's seat in the playoffs. Going against the Cleveland Browns, who are coming off a big win over the Bills, but let's not kid ourselves. The Bills are a made field goal away from going to overtime, and two made makeable field goals away from losing at home to the Bills, which would have effectively ended their season. But I also think that there's something else at stake other than just a character and culture debate. I don't think anyone can debate that Pittsburgh Steelers have better culture and better character than the Cleveland Browns. You can tell me the Cleveland Browns have faced adversity, but is there any more adversity than losing your three most talented offensive players? Than losing your quarterback, who was the general manager said was the only adult in the room going back to last year, who just re-signed a new long-term contract, a future Hall of Famer? There's no more adversity than that. But I also think we've gotten to this place, and we do this in business, we do this in life, and we definitely do it in sports, where something is undervalued, and so we sink a bunch of resources into it, and then it becomes overvalued. Right? Because what happens is, we get this all the time. Well, look at the Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. How many of them are Hall of Famers? And the idea is, if you want to win a Super Bowl, you got to have a Hall of Fame quarterback. Russell Wilson will be a Hall of Famer. I don't think there's any doubt in that, right? He puts himself in the MVP debate enough. He's won a Super Bowl, been in 2 Super Bowls. Tom Brady will be a Hall of Famer. Peyton Manning will be a Hall of Famer. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger will be a Hall of Famer. Eli Manning will be a Hall of Famer. But what's interesting is, when Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl, he was in the conversations of worst starting quarterbacks, numbers-wise, in the league, right? When Ben Roethlisberger won his first Super Bowl, he had the lowest quarterback rating of any winning quarterback in Super Bowl history his first time around. Heck, even Tom Brady's first time around, he was a facilitator more than anything. John Elway's first Super Bowl actually had surpassed everybody else, and before he was surpassed by Ben Roethlisberger, was the lowest QBR of any winning Super Bowl quarterback. So the idea of having a Hall of Fame quarterback technically is right. Eli Manning is only going to go into the Hall of Fame because of those Super Bowls, not because of his overall play. I think you might actually say the same about Ben Roethlisberger. And he wasn't a Hall of Famer the first time he went in, didn't play like it either. But we've gone from this place of maybe undervaluing financially quarterbacks. There wasn't this great chasm between quarterback salaries and everybody else, to now overvaluing it. Yes, starting quarterbacks are in fact important. I am not telling you they are not. It is really hard to win big consistently with a backup. I mean, the Eagles did win a Super Bowl with a backup. But that actually only proves my point. Right? You do need a quarterback. The Bears don't seem to have a quarterback. They do have a great defense. Skill position players are hit and miss. But right now, they're not a playoff team, and it's because they don't have... You need a little bit of everything. Right? You can't go no quarterback. Look at the Broncos since the Super Bowl. They've had massive offensive line issues, and they've had major quarterback issues. But you don't necessarily need great quarterback play. Take a look at the Tennessee Titans. I'll grant you, very lucky, unfortunate, lucky to beat the Chargers, but they'll take that luck, and they're 5-5, and they've been rotating Mariota and now Ryan Tannehill. And yeah, Ryan Tannehill won, I guess, last week. The Steelers have the number 1 rated offensive line in pass protection, 3rd overall in defense. They're in the playoff hunt with Mason Rudolph, who I really like personally. And I hope he's a long-time starter, but I don't think he is. Or at least to this point, he has not proven to the league that he is. Like if Ben Roethlisberger came back and said he was healthy today, he'd be the starting quarterback today, even though they've won all these games in a row. Why is that? Because Mason Rudolph he's basically just a guy right now. The success of the Steelers, the success of the Panthers, the success in many ways of the Ravens last year, and at times the Ravens this year, is because of their team, their culture, their defense, their offensive line, as much as the quarterback, if not much more than the quarterback. Look, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they had a dynamic pass rush. They had a damn good offensive line. They schemed them up, and they had some good skill position players. Carson Wentz would have been the MVP. He was playing at that high a level. Like, we're sitting here going like, wow, Foles was better than Carson Wentz. Like, no, he wasn't. He wouldn't have been the MVP in the NFL. Carson Wentz would have. It was that good of a team. And when Carson Wentz comes back and the team falters, has Carson Wentz gotten worse? No. They don't have a pass rush. The offensive line has been hit or miss. They've had a massive amount of drops, and they haven't been fully healthy. They haven't had Deshaun Jackson the entire season. My point is not that quarterbacks don't matter. My point is not that quarterbacks matter. Because they do, but they don't. They are not the end-all, be-all. And the perfect example is the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know the old Hillary Clinton, it takes a village? It does. In life, in business, and in sports. You can't just have a quarterback and expect him to sprinkle some pixie dust. Ask Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers how that works out. On the other hand, you can't just have an incredible defense and not have an offense led by a quarterback with confidence. Ask the Chicago Bears how that's working out. We've gone from undervaluing quarterback play and not paying the guys above and beyond what they're worth to now we're getting to the point of being ridiculous. And it's not just the offensive line or the defense. The coaching matters. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season, and now you see why. Right? When other coaches would pack it in and go, starting a first-year guy, we had a third-string quarterback start on the road against the Chargers. We got blasted against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're trying to work some things out and figure some things out. There were no excuses given. They simply shortened the game, changed the game plan, cut the field in half for their young quarterback, simplified things, and let it ride on their culture, their character, their coaching. 3 big C's. Throw in a little conditioning, and you got the 4 C's of success. It's not that quarterback play doesn't matter, but we've gotten to this point where quarterbacks get all of the credit or all of the blame. I'll give you an example. Who was the best quarterback last weekend in the NFL? Now, the AFC Player of the Week went to Lamar Jackson, and he was spectacular. He completed his first 10 passes. He ran, he passed. They dominated the worst defense in football. But he wasn't the best quarterback in football. For my money and for most people's money, if you actually watched, it would be the Kansas City Chiefs led by Pat Mahomes. In his first game back, he wasn't good. He was great. From a dislocated kneecap, wasn't like a hamstring, wasn't a rolled ankle, wasn't a pinky finger on his non-throwing hand. Dislocated kneecap, 36 for 50, 446 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, an average of 9 yards per completion. He played great. Why didn't they win? Couldn't get a stop. They couldn't run the football. They couldn't stop Derrick Henry. He ran for 188 yards. 8.2 yards a carry. Like Tannehill gets the credit for the win. He threw for 181 yards. No one who watches or knows or breathes or knows anything about football thinks that Pat Mahomes was anything less than spectacular. And he found Tyreek Hill 11 times for 157 yards. But that is not what a great football team makes. You have to be able to protect, to run it, to stop it. And what are we going to do? We're going to overvalue Pat Mahomes because we say he's worth it. He probably is, but he's probably not because you don't win football games that way. The Steelers are living proof that quarterbacks matter, but they don't matter. Because you got to have a little bit of everything. The culture, the character, the conditioning, and the coaching. Got to have those. You want to win in any sport, in any league, especially the NFL. Hi, I'm Doug Gottlieb from Fox Sports Radio, and you need to subscribe to the Fox Sports Radio YouTube channel where you can hear and see me. Why not? Plus, everybody else who's awesome here in Fox Sports Radio.